Every night, billions of people close their eyes and surrender to sleep. Most wake up exactly where they left off. But some claim they've traveled elsewhere, to places they've never seen, to moments outside of time, to encounters so vivid and life-changing they return convinced they've touched something beyond this world. Tonight, author, researcher, and out-of-body explorer Jonathan Womack continues with us to discuss his experiences. Welcome back to the Paranormal 360. I'm your host on this journey, and joining me on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline, Jonathan Womack. Jonathan, thank you for being so open with us this evening. And folks, for those of you listening that are sitting on fence posts each week on this program and exploring the possibilities, the what ifs, I know some of these stories, more than others, sound so fantastical there's no way that they could exist. But if you look through history and time at how many things we've thought were impossible, remember, within a very short span of time, we went from earthbound humans to flight to reaching the moon. As a matter of fact, one of the Wright brothers actually met the astronauts that went up into space. That's how close that gap was. So from imagination to reality, things that we think are flights of fancy may be rooted somewhere very deeply in reality, and we just have yet to realize it. And our guest is here to share some of the insights on this. Do you believe, Jonathan, kind of going back to the story we discussed, the fact that you felt that time is not relevant in that realm, can you then, in effect, go back to other moments? Could you go back to witness the death of Christ or Adolf Hitler, to answer the big questions? Have you tried to do that?
To a certain extent, but in a different way. I go to bed, lie down, vibrations come, I'm out, the beeper signal is there, and this one was the most dire alarm signal I'd received at that point.
And for this beeper, this signal that he's referring to, you know, some of us call it the spidey sense. It's that intuition, it's that ping letting him know that there's danger somewhere. And he has purposed himself in this fashion, that with this ability that he has to go be there for these moments and see if there's something he can do to help. So please continue.
Yes, I follow the beeper signal, and it leads me to the southern coast of England. If you've ever been to England, there's all these cliffs along the coast there. And I look down, I see England, I come down. As I get closer, I can see there is an 18th century or 17th century sailing ship sitting there on the coast. And you have these cliffs. And then I get closer, and I'm coming up to the ship. I opened my novel, Ram I Am, with this experience. I incorporate some of my experiences into my novels. So I glide up to this old sailing ship, and I look, and I can see on the deck what's going on. There's this ruckus, and there is a man and a woman who are being attacked by these pirates, and the man is fighting them off. It's a sword fight, and he's protecting her. And there's like 4 of these dudes, and they're hurt, but he's really cut up, and he's not going to make it. And he is the source of the alarm signal. And sure enough, as I'm watching, one of the pirates stabs him right through the stomach with his sword. And I watch as the good guy, his spirit lifts out of his body and goes up tunnel, and you hear about going through the tunnel, and he's gone. And then the next moment, I am pulled by some force. I can't do anything about it. I'm pulled into his body that he just vacated. And I find myself, here I am now, I'm in this guy's body, and I am somewhat aware now of who he is, what's going on. I can feel the pain of this steel in my gut, and I'm able to keep my focus. And I slash this guy's hand off, the pirate. I decapitate his hand and his sword in just one quick, and I take the to pull a sword out. And the pirates they're freaking out because they're like, what the hell's going on with this guy? Now they're freaking terror. And, one of them, like I say, one of them jumps over the side of the ship. And now these guys want no part of me. And I say to the woman, let's go. We take off down the gangway and onto the shore, and vividly remember going up this trail, up these cliffs and up to the top. And we're running along this path, and I got about halfway up and just bleeding. I've lost so much blood, and this guy's body just gave out, and he just flops to the ground, and I lift out of him. And I'm like, okay, the warning is gone. Everything's like it's supposed to be. This woman, she's of some importance. I don't know who exactly she was, but she's some Princess Leia, somebody like that. And she has to get to the village that's just up over the rise. So mission accomplished, and everything's cool. And I have this nice leisurely flight over the ocean. I head back home. It's just very peaceful and serene and beautiful, and very stark contrast to the violence that just happened. So that was another instance where I just had to keep my wits, and there was a lot of pain, and these guys were evil. And so I was a buccaneer. Me and this woman had come from somewhere. I'd like to explore that someday.
Do you feel that maybe in this instance, and I know this is a big question for a short amount of time left in this segment, but were you maybe revisiting a past life? Were you revisiting a moment that filled that gap?
Yes, that was a past me. It was calling and saying, help me. And that's why it was so dire. It was just more deeply personal than the other OBEs.
Do you take on and feel the wound of that going forward? Does that carry on with you? Or when you do return to your physical form, is that part over?
That's over. But I tell you, when I recall these experiences, they're just so vivid, and all of that emotion tends to come back. Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear it in your voice, and watching you as we talk, I can see it on your face. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back and continue this journey into the strange. Welcome back. This is Dave Schrader. Paranormal 360 is the name of the show. You can find us here every week as we explore the strange and unusual world around us with explorers, experiencers, whistleblowers, and more. And tonight we're discovering and discussing more about the world of out-of-body exploration and out-of-body experiences. I do need to know, Jonathan, when you're traveling and doing these type of moments, do you encounter other sentient beings besides guardians and angels? Do you see Dave Schrader out skipping rocks, in Mayberry, and that's where his soul decided to visit that night? Do you have those type of encounters?
Not so much. I guess, how would I describe it? There's always a purpose or something I'm supposed to do. So it might not involve seeing, my neighbors are out in their yard or something, but it can.
Again, I don't physically mean like the human form. I mean, do you ever see the spiritual element, the soul, the astral projection of others while you're traversing, while they're doing their travels? Because you would think that, you're not the only one doing this. You're not the only one out there exploring this. And if you can see and be a part of these situations, it would seem to me that you should be seeing a skyway full of people just floating about doing whatever, they feel called to do.
Yeah, you might think that, and that makes some sense, but that's not the case. I guess I'm not looking for that. People, when you're in your body for a long time, you forget how to see on the other side. So a lot of people, when they cross over, I'll get an alarm signal. I go help someone, and they're confused. And for example, I got a tap on the shoulder in 1999, and it said, hey, you remember you thought about writing a book in the mid 80s about this guy who goes out of body and he's helping people, and it's kind of this Superman thing. I was going to fictionalize it. And then here it is, 1999, and my spirit guide says it's time start writing. So I did. I'd never written a book, but I started writing my debut novel, A Cry for a Hero, and I was finishing up the conclusion of the book. In the story, some terrorists are going to destroy the city of, and I was writing that ending when 9/11 happened. And as it turns out, that it happened on my birthday. So that gave it that eerie, like, oh my gosh. So I'm very tied to that event. And I had to put the book aside for a while because it was just too close to reality. And I remember that morning when 9/11, I was actually, I'm a retired IT media tech. I live outside of Boston. I work in Boston at the convention centers and MIT and Harvard and these kind of places. And on that day, I'm driving up 95 to convention center, the Heinz Convention Center, for a medical convention. And my girlfriend calls me. She says, something terrible has happened. They flew. She knows I'm writing this book and all this. And I knew they were coming. I didn't know exactly where they were coming, but I thought they were coming to Boston. And in a way they were, because they came through Logan Airport. Yeah, she said something has happened. They flew this plane into the World Trade Towers. And
Jonathan, is this a curse to be given this kind of gift, to this insight, this premonition that you don't even get to realize is something that's real, that's going to happen? Or if it is, there's nothing you can do to stop it. That's got to be almost torturous.
It can be tough. Yeah. That's why I say to people that 60 years of OBE prepared me for the discovery of this infinity art a couple of years ago. I'll never forget getting to the convention center in town, and there was about 30 of us techs sitting around. At that point, everybody knew the news was all over. We're all just sitting there wondering. We're at the Prudential Center in town, which is like the tallest or the second tallest building in Boston. And we're half expecting a plane to hit the Prudential Center. After an hour or so, they sent us all home, and all the doctors that were supposed to come to this metal convention, they all rerouted and went to New York to help the victims there. So each year on 9/11, since then, up until 2019 or 2020, it was 2020, each year I would go there and help someone who was still locked into that moment and confused. A soul head to the light, just like you hear about on TV, and you go toward the light. And so that's what I would do. And there it is. And they're gone, and I've helped them. And when 2020 came, I went there, and there were no more. I had cleared that zone. It was just beauty and love coming from the crowd of people there.
Did those spirits have an idea of what happened to them, or were they thrown for their bodies so quickly that they thought they were astral projecting? They thought they were in a dream state.
Yeah, they don't know. They're just so confused, and they were just thrust in at such a violent moment, and that imprint stays with your soul. They just need, a lot of people, they just need a little help. And you give them a little help, and then they're okay, and they go back home like they're supposed to. There's even souls all over the earth, from Auschwitz and just all kinds of events like that, where they're stuck in time and they're hurting. And those ghosts, yeah, they're ghosts. There's lots of ghosts. And some of them are not too happy, and they're troubled and all that. And that's what the deal is. So, but yeah, I cleared that zone, and it's just a place of, I remember I don't go toward the ground too much. I stay up, but I'm floating through the people, the crowd, and it's just love and It was a beautiful, joyous morning on September 11th of 2020. It was awesome.
When we come back, I'd like to talk a little bit more about that. When you're helping a soul, do they see you? Are they sensing you? Are you as real to them as they are to you in that moment? And what do you do to help a soul cross over? I know that's something that people worry about, especially those that have lost family members in a traumatic, fast, perhaps violent way. So we'll talk about that and more when we return. I'm Dave Schrader. This is Paranormal 360 with our guest, Jonathan Womack.
On a cool night in the fall of 1965, a new television series scares a 6-year-old boy to death, triggering a strange and fantastic metamorphosis that would forever change his life. So begins the spiritual journey of Jonathan Womack, a path that would lead him to travel far and wide, helping others along the way, in his search for better understanding. Join Jonathan as he shares his astral adventures and interviews fascinating guests, offering keen insights into a wide range of metaphysical subjects. Whether you're a skeptic, a medium, or somewhere in between, we invite you to join us for the next OBE show.
Okay, Jonathan, talking about helping spirits and souls in the astral form. In this sense, I'd asked earlier, do you ever see these kind of beings? Do you see this? And you had said, no, not really. You weren't looking for them, but yet here you found yourself face to face with souls, with spirits that hadn't made that final journey. They were still confused and unsure what to do. Could they see and sense you, first of all?
Yes. Yes, they can.
And what do you do in that moment then to help them clear where they're at so that they can move on and let go of that fear, that pain and confusion?
Well, I kind of act like my spirit guide where I'm just very calm, and communication, it's like my spirit guide, a man of very few words, like go here or do this, or it's not these long conversations or anything, but it's just very simple communication. That's how I communicate with the souls, is just I'll show them, express an emotion. Okay, go here. And they realize, oh gosh, somebody's here to help me. And they go, and I'm successful. There was this instance in one of Robert Monroe's books. He wrote 3 books, and I enjoyed them very much because I could relate so much to his experiences, and it just would give me confirmation as my own. And one of his experiences was in his first book, he was lying in bed at night with his wife, and he gets up out of his body. And this is like in the 70s, and something jumps on his back, and it freaks him out, and he's panicking and scared and terror out of his mind, and he's trying to get this thing off his back, and he can't get it off his back, and he manages to, it's this horrible thing, and he gets back into his body, and he's like, oh my God. And so the next night, he gets out of his body, and the thing jumps on his back again, and it's the same thing, and it's this fight, and he's trying to get it off, and he can't. And he's able to get back in his body. He's like, oh my God, what the heck was that? So like 20 plus years, a couple of decades go by. This is in his 3rd book now. He writes the end to this experience was he's in bed one night, he gets out of his body. Now he's been doing this for decades, so he's got a pretty good handle on it. He's not a novice anymore. He was like me. He would get these pings. So he gets this alarm call and he follows it. He goes back to Virginia, where he's at somebody's house and he's in his bedroom and he sees this man who has gotten out of his body. There's a couple lying in the bed and the guy is out of his body and he's standing next to the bed. He's flipping out and he's sobbing and crying and praying for help. Somebody please help me. And he can see that this guy's cat is on the guy's shoulder because the cat had passed away. Their beloved cat, the cat's spirit slept on the bed with mom and dad like it always did. When the spirit cat saw daddy get out of his body, he's like, hey, and it would jump on his shoulder just like it always did in life. But Robert Monroe at that time was a novice and panicked and flipped out. And now Robert Monroe has come back to help himself because back in the first book, Robert Monroe said, an angel came. I was praying and this angel showed up and it was just this white, brilliant being. And it came over and it lifted this creature that was attacking me and it lifted it off my back and saved me. And I was able to. So now Robert Monroe's like reliving that from the perspective of the quote, the angel that came, he's come back to help himself. He's evolved and now he's this, glowing light. And so that's how, that's like me going back to the Buccaneer to help myself. Very similar situation.
These beings, these things that we see and people experience, especially at night, a lot of people will have experiences in their room with shadow figures, with ghostly imagery or aliens. What is it that you think we're really seeing in those moments between wake and sleep, that twilight essence where we're straddling both worlds at the same time?
Yes. When you get into that space that's pleated between reality and the dream world, you will see other entities. They exist at a higher frequency than we do. So we're not going to see them with our eyes, but we see them with our mind. And the ETs fall into that category as well. A lot of people report these sort of experiences, and some of them it's terrifying, and other times it's peaceful and calm and loving. And I've seen the trailer for Spielberg's new movie coming out about disclosure, and there's a shot in there where you see this deer is looking at somebody, some human, and the deer kind of turns this way and you see the deer is actually an ET, but it chose to appear as a deer. Well, that's not as scary to humans. And so that's interesting. But I feel like writing to Spielberg and saying they're not going to contact us until humans learn to see infinity art. That is the threshold for disclosure. They will not make any formal acknowledgement or, hey, how's it going? None of that until our consciousness is raised, where we all kind of wake up. And so that's it. Does
that infinity arch play deeply into your new movie, The Rings of Sirius? Absolutely,
yes. And like I said, 60 years have prepared me for this discovery because it blew me away. It was unbelievable. And it's very hard to believe. So I've got a tough hill to climb because 99% of people are not ready for this. And most will dismiss me. And that's how it's been going the last couple of years. I discovered this in January of 2023. So what happened was...
We've got about a minute. I don't want to launch into something that I'll have to shut you down on.
Yeah.
The movie is out and available now on ParaFlixx, ParaFlixx, The Ancient Rings of Sirius.
The experts tell us that seeing random faces in the rocks and clouds is caused by a trick of the mind. what if? That whimsical mind trick proved to be the key to unlocking life's greatest mystery. Could pareidolia be the work of higher dimensional beings that sculpt planets, moons, stars, and galaxies? According to psy-researcher Jonathan Womack, hyper-advanced fractal geometry, architecture, technology, and history beyond imagining is on display all around us. A Jurassic legacy looking us in the eye, watching and waiting.
This is something that could alter the way we perceive the world, our life, and everything in it. If you haven't already subscribed to ParaFlixx, you might want to check it out so that you can check out the movie. And when we return, we'll find out about the Infinity Arch. We'll find out about its place in our world and what it means to humanity and to our survival. We'll talk with our guest, one full segment left together, and I feel like it's not going to nearly be enough. Jonathan Womack is our guest. I'm your host, Dave Schrader. This is Paranormal 360.
A long time ago, before dinosaurs walked the earth, before birds took to the sky, before whales swam in the sea, they have watched and waited. And now, the wait is over.
Ancient Rings of Sirius. It's the new movie just released January 1st, 2026 on ParaFlixx. The link for that on today's program guide. Jonathan, the Infinity Arch, the Rings of Sirius. Where do you want to start? We have 9 minutes to talk about this film and tease it up a little bit for people to go check it out.
Okay, well, in August of 2021, I saw some images. My colleague, Keith Morgan, I've done about 60 shows with Richard Hoagland and his producer, Keith, become friends with him over the years. And he went to Arches National Park and took some photos. And he's like, man, this doesn't look right. And when I saw his photographs, I was like, what the heck? And then it was this photograph of Delicate Arch. Then I just went, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. This is like Tolkien on steroids, and it's real. And I don't understand what the heck it is, but this is absolutely something so profound. I can't let it go. I have to find out what this is. So for the next year and a half, I'm just in all my free time, I'm looking at Arches Park, at Delicate Arch, Park Avenue, all these places. I'm looking at Monument Valley. I'm looking in Saudi Arabia, Australia, all over the earth. Oh my gosh, here it is on the moon. Mars, oh my gosh, what is this? Yesterday, it looked like a face. Today, it looked like some other face. Tomorrow, like something else. I cannot understand. After a year and a half, I'm sitting here at my desk, getting ready for bed, and I'm frustrated now. So I look up to the ceiling. I know they're around me. They're watching me. What is it? Just show me. That's what I said. Just show me. Because I'm getting ready for bed. I'm going to go out and about. I'm like, just show me. So I go to bed and lie down, and just, a minute later, I'm out. I'm in a lucid dream, flying through space, very beautiful and serene. After a minute or so, these 3 souls come flying up alongside of me, and I look over and, okay. Well, they're like, okay, you ready? So off we go. There's that rush of motion when you're speeding through the ether. So here we are looking at a planet from orbit, and I can see clearly it's this whole face taking up the side of the planet. And oh my gosh, it's this very Tolkien looking dude. And it's made up of all these other faces. I'm looking at it just going, oh my God, that's incredible. And okay. And we go rush of motion, and there's another planet, and we repeat that. And it's like we're in a museum, and they're curators, and they're taking me around, showing me these museum pieces. It's a gallery, and each planet is more beautiful than the next, and these faces. And I'm like, oh my God, we don't have that where I'm from back at the Sol system. So we get back to Earth, and I'm looking at Earth from space. Oh my God, the Earth looks, I can see the United States and South America, but it looks completely different, because now I see that this art is happening, and the clouds are going by, and the water and the ocean and everything. And I go back to my physical body, and now I'm like, okay. So now I'm just looking at the Earth in a new light. I'm looking at everything, all the mountains and the clouds and everything. And I'm studying the arches, and oh my gosh, and all this revelation and discovery is just so incredible. And then they go look at the Sphinx. And that was August 8th, a few months later. And I get the tap. Why do you want me to look at the Sphinx? That was a couple thousand years. Oh my gosh, I go there. It's an infinity art monument. There's 1 million faces in this. And the pyramids, millions of faces. The sun goes by, they all change. It's all this history told in shadow. That's another thing. All the shadows are telling history. I have some really amazing evidence in my new movie, Ancient Rings of Sirius. It's the second film in the series, where I'm showing at Delicate Arch. I have drone footage showing on the summer solstice. This happens every year. You have to see it to believe it. This shadow play happens as the sun is going down, and it's unbelievable. And I have to convince people that this is all real.
I get that, and it is insane to have that kind of knowledge given to you in the position you're in. What are they doing? Are they hoping you're going to take this to humanity to help alter and change things? How does this work? Because I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around who they choose as messengers, because it seems so many of these races have reached out to people, asked to share these stories. Why aren't they going to a Geraldo Rivera? Why aren't they going to a Hugh Downs? Somebody that's got an audience, somebody that they can impact and affect on a much grander scale, Jonathan. And that's light meant to you.
That's the question I ask, because I don't have any social media following. I have this compulsion. I have to get in touch with Elon Musk. Like, how the heck I'm a nobody from nowhere comparatively. I'm like, why don't you get in touch with, William Shatner or those guys from the Ancient Aliens show, or there's so many people you could.
So what do they say to you? What reasoning do they give you? We only have 2 minutes left here. Have they given you a profound reasoning for any of this? Or
you're the guy because you've been preparing this all your life. That's why you're the messenger.
But are you ever worried, Jonathan? There are many messengers that have come before that tell and share and show and prove, and people that have called down craft from the sky through prayer or through incantation, whatever you want to call it, and they make themselves known. And it starts to take hold and people start to take notice. And then they reveal to this Jonathan Womack that we're going to make a grand gesture over the Grand Canyon on July 4th, 2026. And everybody turns up and nothing happens. It's like they give, and then pull back that carpet at the last moment. Are you ever concerned that you will be played the fool by whatever these beings are?
No, not at all. I trust them implicitly. When I have those questions, just trust them more. A week ago, almost last Friday, ParaFlixx posted, my show's coming Monday. It premieres June 1st, 9 p.m. And it had 2 likes, and the second like was SpaceX.
Interesting.
So I thought, okay, that gives me hope that maybe I can get in touch with Elon before he gets situated on the moon and Mars, because we want to not destroy all this art and all the arches.
How can we talk about freedom while taking it from others? Don't you know that everybody on God's green land is our sister and brother? The earth has enough room for everyone. Instead of making wars, just let us sit out in the sun and learn to love each other. We don't need to steal tomorrow. Tomorrow will take care of itself. There's enough room in this wide world, so let us share in all its wealth. Let the big booms be fireworks and peace signs, not young blood and babies' cries. Let us love one another. Oh, in God we trust shouldn't just be a convenient slogan. Saying we trust God while taking the life of someone else isn't part of a greater plan. But it is a plan. But it is a plan. The plan of the enemy. We were born to be free. So let us live in peace. Let us love one another. Love one another. Love one another. Amen. Amen.
Tonight's conversation took us far beyond the boundaries of ordinary experience, from harrowing encounters that challenged the very nature of reality to enlightening moments that offered a glimpse of something greater. We've explored a spiritual journey that transcends the physical limitations of our world. Whether these experiences are viewed through the lens of consciousness, the soul, or something even more profound, they remind us that existence may be far richer, deeper, and much more mysterious than we've been led to believe. The body may be where our story unfolds, but perhaps it's not the measure of who we truly are. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to hit subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, write a review. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. And may the darkness of this world be just a little brighter with the information we share here each week on our Paranormal 360.